Welcome back to another episode. So for this piece, I wanted to go back to my color pencils because I don't know if you guys watched my last video. If not, you should. I tried to experiment with markers, so I bought Ohuhu markers, and I wouldn't say it was a disaster. It was experience and an experience that I'm learning from. And like anything else that we try to use for the first time, it's practice makes perfect. It's not as easy as I thought it would be, and the blending is like I need practice. But it was fun. And what I always tell people who say they don't have any hobbies or talents, what I think is that everybody has a talent. It's just a matter of have you tried everything yet? Anyway, for this episode, we are coloring Ariel from Disney's Little Mermaid, and she is probably one of my favorite princesses right after Belle. And I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. I have fun making these, and I just want everyone else to enjoy them with me. If there's anything that you have in mind that I could color, maybe something a little more nostalgic that's like within your era since I'm pretty old, let me know. So enough of this rambling, let's get coloring. So we're taking a picture out of this Disney coloring book called the Advanced Disney Coloring Book. Ooh. To begin, we're going to start out with coloring the red hair because I loved her hair in this. This is probably one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. But my first one is The Lion King. Oh, and a Goofy movie. Okay, so maybe this will be my third favorite. And hint, hint, there will be a Lion King coloring pretty soon. After I finish the first light base color red, I want to give it some more dimension, as I always say, and I gave it a darker red. So I wanted to feed it from dark to light so that the lighter shade, the base color, will be be that gleam. So have you ever looked at someone's hair or your own hair and then like the light hits it and it just shows like the light like a strip of light going across it? I can't really explain it, but you should know what I mean. But that's what I wanted to do here. And for this, like, this very low detail, but that's fine because later on this episode, I will go back and use a fine tip marker and put my drawing skills to use. We got to use those skills here on the, what is that called? Their fish tail. Her fish tail. And I wanted to give her scales, just like a fish. I admit I did have some difficulty on this part because where it starts bending, I had to like really shift the scales over, and it's supposed to get smaller and smaller as they go down. So I did what I could. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, even as an artist who loves to draw. I admit that I do make little mistakes, but it's fine. And I wanted to try to make the tail look kind of like these fish that I see, where it's like they have sort of like a green tint to it, but it has like a purple and blue rainbow reflection from the light. So I had to go into every scale of this and go from dark to light, and then after I'm done with this blue, I'm gonna go back over it with a lighter blue and then a purplish pink. And I think I did all right, but I won't get ahead of myself. This was probably the most time-consuming part, just because it's all very little pieces. But I really wanted to give this picture like a little more detail. Maybe I'll share some of my drawings later, or maybe some of you already know my artwork, but I love the contrast of very simple artwork along with very detailed artwork. And I really love black and white line art. So to separate the scales from this, I try to use my lighting source to only shine on like the very bottom tip of each scale so that you can see some sort of separation from scale to scale, and it'll achieve that that lighting look where the light is just bouncing off of the very rounded closest rounded part of the tail. And for the fins, I try to leave a little space around where the line is so that we could also get that little separation. So it's kind of like a lip that kind of stands out that the light is bouncing off of. And I will go back over this with a fine tip marker as well to give it a little more detail. And so far, I think this has come out beautifully. I know like the little belt part is supposed to be like a translucent, I guess you would say, where you can see right through it. So I try not to color in too much, but also leave a little visible part. And then I'll go into the purple. So I go from like a blue, light blue to dark blue to purple. And the purple I chose is kind of like a mixture of purple and pink, almost like a magenta, if you will. And I'm just trying to put that on the tail, the very tip of the tail where the fins are, to make it a little more consistent. And maybe fish really don't look like that in real life, but I think this looks prettier this way. And then I don't want to leave like, and I wanted to give it like a more majestic look, so I added like the salmon or coral pink right after the purple. And for her shell bra, I think she's supposed to wear like a red, can't remember, but I wanted to make this a little more consistent with the rest of her body, so I wanted to keep it with that purple-ish blue. And because even though it's not probably movie accurate, it's my picture and I could do whatever I want. And that is the joy of coloring and drawing, doing your own art, is that you could do it any way you want and use your imagination. For the skin, I try to use like a soft peach color, and then over where the shadows are, use just like a darker bronze. For her eyes, I wanted to give it like a dark blue to a light blue to a white. Start from top to the bottom. And now we'll hop into a little bit more detail. So we're doing some line work. I'm out of practice on this, so this is like the first time in a long time since I've done something like this. But if a lot of you, for those of you who've seen my real artwork, my drawings, this is the type of artwork that I do. I draw a lot of female faces and flowing hair, and I put a lot of detail in those. So this is a little more simple version of that. This one's a little different for me because there's already lines that the illustrator already put in there. So usually I wouldn't use those type of big portions of the hair, but I'm working with what I have, and I still think this is gonna look really good.